Hello, everyone. Welcome to the good stuff we've been doing. Here we have a very nice word problem. It says that if four men working 8 hours a day do a piece of work in 5 days, we should find out how many hours a day two men will have to work to finish the job in 8 days. So let's see. Now we have four men who work, they do the job 8 hours per day, and the job lasts for 5 days. For 5 days, this five, not an X. And then what we should do here, preferably for us, is because we have four here, we have eight here, we have five. We should have mercy on ourselves and reduce the variables, like these numbers, reduce them from three to two, because it will be easier to work with that way. So let's try to see how we can simplify things. What we'll do here is to notice that if you work 8 hours a day and you work for 5 days and you did the job for a total of 5 days, that means the four men actually worked for about 8 times 5 hours in total. So 8 times 5 will give us 40. So the four men worked for 40 hours. So this is better for us. Let's just say the four men worked for 40 hours. This is because it is easier to connect 4 and 40 than connecting 4, 8, and 5. So here, the four men worked for 40 hours. And since they all work at the same rate, to, to finish the job, here now, so the four men working 8 hours a day finish a piece of job in 5 days. So with these conditions here, now we have converted it to four men finish a piece of job in 14 hours. So the condition we have arrived at is that four men finish the job finish in 40 hours. Now the question we are going to ask ourselves is that how long will it take two men to finish the job? Two men to finish the job in how many hours? So how long will it take two men to finish the job? We cannot just say two men. We cannot just divide both sides by two here. Say you divide here by two, and you divide here by two, and you say that two men will finish the job in 20 hours, because that would really be somewhat. It will be strange, because here you are having that four men are finishing the job in 40 hours. So two men definitely will not be able to finish this particular job in 40 hours. It will even be better to multiply by 2, but we cannot use this equation and say we are going to multiply or divide by 2. What we'll do is that we are going to recognize that this problem is on inverse variation. I have explained inverse variation here in some couple of videos ago, and I'll put a link to it in the description for people that might have missed the video. Inverse variation talks about inverse relationship between things. Now, the amount of men here, which is 4 men, and the amount of hours they work actually have an inverse relationship between them. Because if we have more and more men, the number of hours they work will decrease when the job is fixed. Like when the job is a particular job, let's say it involves clearing of a field like this. So if you put 15 men in this field, if they do the job in 3 hours, of course, when you put 30 men, you should expect them to clear the field, say in an hour, if they don't injure themselves or collapse though. So if they work at the same rate, they don't rest, they just constantly clear, they don't take a break and nothing happens. So what we'll do here is that we are going to recognize that last time we said that if two quantities are are inverse variation, then we say that one varies as inversely as the other. So when one is increasing, the other will be decreasing. So here, when the number of men is increasing here, the number of hours will be decreasing. I've explained most of this concept in details in the previous video. So if you haven't watched it, I'll put a link to it in the description as I said before. Now, let's move on to the problem and see what justice can be done. Here, we are told that, excuse me, okay. So here, we have a condition that 4 men finish some job. Let X be number of men, X be men, so and then Y be the hours. So X varies as inversely as Y. Of course, I explained before that means XY is a constant equals to K. Now, because 4 men, we are told that the 4 men finish the job in 40 hours. So that means 4 multiplied by 40 is equals to the constant K here. So 4 multiplied by 40 is equals to constant K. And as I usually explain in my videos, I will not be evaluating this product because it may be useful to us here. So what we should have is that this relationship boils down to XY is equals to 4 times 40. Let me put a multiplication here because so it not look like a dot. So this condition now what if we have 2 men? How many hours will it be? Well, if we have 2 men, then X is equals to 2. So for this case here now, 2 times Y will be 4 times 40 here. So divide both sides by 2 and we divide both sides by 2. So this cancel out. Y would then be 2 here is 1, then 2 here is 2. That's why I don't usually multiply out. It's helpful. 2 times 40 is 80. So it's 80 hours. This means that the 2 men will finish the job in 80 hours. Of course, if we had been blind and say we come here and then divide both sides by 2 here, say okay, since 4 men did the job in 40 hours, then 2 men will do the job in 20 hours, we would have been wrong, although we don't know why that would have been the case. So let's proceed further. Here, you see that the 2 men will finish the job in 80 hours. Yeah, so 80 hours. Okay, so 2 men finish the job in 80 hours. The 2 men they finish the job in 80 hours. Now let's look at the problem again, what it really asks us, so that we'll be sure how to proceed with that 80 hours. It tells us that we should find out how many hours a day. So how many hours a day would the 2 men would have to work to finish the job in 8 days. So now we know how many hours they can finish the job in total, the full job. But then this job, the hours should spread over 8 days. So it should spread over 8 days. That means they should be working equal hours a day, because they should find out how many hours a day. How many hours a day will they be working? So like it should be maybe 2 hours today, 2 hours tomorrow. Like they should be working at the same rate every day for 8 days. So that is what the problem is asking us. Not that we should the 80 hours is correct, so but that we should spread it over 8 days. Now let's go back to the 80 hours again. Since we should spread it over 8 days, divide both sides by 8 here, then this means that the 2 men will have to work for 10 hours per day. So the two men will have to work for 10 hours per day to be able to finish this job in 8 days. And the total hours they will work will be 80 hours. If you enjoy my content, as usual, you can check through the previous videos I made in this channel, and please like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for your time and have a nice day.